Shri Rama Sharnam Mama Manas Manthan Kinkar Chintan Discourses by Maharaj Shri Ram Kinkarji Upadhyay. Message 16. Title: Who is greater between Bhakti and Gyan? In this message, Maharaj Shri Ram Kinkarji explains who is greater between Gyan and Bhakti, or between devotion and knowledge of God. Such a comparison is not expected, as both are not competitive but are complementary to each other. It is essentially a comparison between emotions and thoughts, and they give meaning to each other. It should be considered as a fruit and juice of the fruit. If Gyan is fruit, then Bhakti is the juice. Fruit without juice is of no value, and if there is no fruit, then there is no question of any juice. Who can denounce the glory of Gyan? The entire episode of Dhanush Bhang, or breaking a bow, is symbolic of Gyan. Dhanush has to be broken as symbolic of ego, and an amazing task was performed by Sri Ram. That very heavy Dhanush was not lifted by the combined power of 10,000 men, and Sri Ram lifted in a flash, which is the result of his power and miracle of Gyan. The most crucial reason behind the victory was the purity of thoughts. Every king in the competition of Dhanush Bhang was participating with a tendency of a gambler and turned out to be a loser. All the participating kings lined up for the moment of their own trial when they heard the condition of marrying Sita ji by breaking the Dhanush. Goswami ji described as Chale Isht Devan Sir Nai. Maharashi asked what was the reason to write this line. He answered, it was an inappropriate intention of the kings to pray to their respective Ishtadev or favored gods, as this is way in essence they are denouncing their favored god's prestige itself. They had no good intention behind remembering them. They lacked humble thoughts of devotion with undesirable motives behind remembering their devta. Hence, writing this line is just a satire on them by Goswami ji. At the same moment, Sri Ram considered his Guruji as his Ishtadev and bowed down to him. He further analyzes as to who were the Ishta gods of other participating kings whom they bowed to. He explains that Ishta means our ideal God, the one who we worship, gives victory, fame, and beauty. Maharashi explains further that selfishness is what these kings are praying for, and they bowed down to it, and they worshipped and remembered the same. Those who they think they never can bow down to anyone, but even would do so with selfish motives for beauty, fame, and victory. Even at undesirable places, they don't feel awkward in doing so. When 10,000 kings gathered with combined force in order to lift the Dhanush, it didn't make any difference. Goswami ji explains that's illogical. For selfish motives, if someone tries to attain success, they are bound to get obstacles. More so if they team up for doing so. Manaho pai bhat bahubal adhik adhik garurai. When evaluated further to see that each king while lifting the Dhanush was also praying wishfully that only he should be the one winning the competition and no one else. After trial and failure, they prayed to Ganeshji with a selfish motive that it's okay that you didn't help me to break the Dhanush, but please make sure no one else breaks it either. This mentality further proves how human tendencies work. Those who want to do some good work for the society, to do help or to serve the needy ones, but with their desire that only they should be the one getting credit for all good work, or else it's better to leave the condition unchanged. If not me, then no one else should be able to get credit. It signifies that inside each egoistic person there is always another evil thought that works simultaneously. The irony is, when none of them could break the Dhanush individually, they all teamed up to pray for common good. They were against each other, now gathered to make sure no one else should be able to break either. Maharashi explains as to why Goswamiji picked the number 10,000 kings. What is the significance? As Sitaji had only one victory garland for one king, then why number 10,000? The answer is to explain that even amongst the 10,000, an individual king thought he is the only one, while the rest of the others like zero placed after him. This clearly translates when dharam vanishes from the life of an individual, then everything else he thinks or does leads to his downfall. Kal dand gahi kahu na mara, harahi dharam bal buddhi vichara. Shunya means zero, and with zero dharam, zero power, zero knowledge, and zero thinking, all ended up in zeros, and still all kings kept trying. For greedy kings, the strength of 10,000 is a big power and motive to be aspired for. Each one of those zero-like kings were thinking internally that their profit from this trial would be worth thousands. For example, some thought their name would be counted amongst the braves. For others trying together to win, realize only one of them will win, at least the rest of can share the dowry. Few others consoled themselves that if they failed individually, then it would have been a shameful situation, but trying in group will be beneficial. Losing battle won't be that bad, as people won't be making fun of them personally. Bhagwan Ram broke the Dhanush miraculously, that kahu na lakha dekha sab thade. He did not show off his power to anyone, but the process of Dhanush Bhang ended with Sitaji coming with the victorious garland. This is symbolic of victory, as she is also the symbol of devotion. Goswamiji not only finishes the message there, but adds that Sitaji comes along with her friends. Her dream is to have Sri Ram, and his head is bowed down ready to receive the garland. This is the scene we all wish to see in life. Like the conqueror of everyone is in front of you to win him. The winner of the world is humbly bowed down. Sitaji is shorter as compared to Sri Ramji, who is taller. The shadow of bhakti is smaller and that of Gyan is taller. To declare one is better among the two is meaningless. Bhakti is powerful, although smaller. Gyan is victorious and taller with his pride, symbolic of Sri Ram. What does this signify? The glory of bhakti in its small size and that of Gyan in its large size. If Sitaji being portrayed as bigger won't be beautiful. And on the contrary, if Sri Ram as his smaller image won't look gorgeous either. In conclusion, Maharashi gives us the message that once we get to the Bhakti Rupi stage with a sincerity of heart, then Gyan Rupi Ram himself bows down even though he is God himself. See you later with another message of Maharashi. Jai Siya Ram.